oriented programming in order to understand and uh, and the commands as well. Okay, so let's start with oops now. I'll just make a new Java project, call it day 2. Hold on. And we'll study objects. We'll study how to build objects and how objects they are used in Selenium. Right. So in day 2 folder, source folder, let me just make a very simple class, say hotel. Right. Now, what are the properties of a hotel? Right. Say it's got a name. I have not put any main method inside this class. Okay. So hotel has a name and say it has a capacity. Right. That is, some capacity has to be there for a hotel, that maximum these many people can come up in the hotel. Right. So now this is a standalone class which has got a no main function under it. Right. I'll create another class from which will have a main function. Okay. Say I'll just call it as a test hotel. This class will have the main function under it. Okay. In this main function, I'm going to create the object of the hotel class. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the object of this hotel class from testhotel.java. Right. So the object is created in a very simple manner. New hotel you write. So the object of the hotel class will be created. But what do you mean by this object? What does it do and how is it helpful? Right. If I open a paint, so what is happening is that I've created three objects of the hotel class. Okay, these are the three objects, but these objects cannot be accessed. Objects require object references. Okay, you can write like this, say hotel h1 equals to new hotel. Okay, then hotel h2 equals to new hotel, hotel h3 equals to new hotel. So h1, h2, h3 are object references. Okay, h1, h2 and h3, what they will do is that they will point towards objects of the hotel class. With h1, h2, h3, you can change the state of the objects. All right. So out here, these are the three objects with three object references. Okay. When you will write h1 dot, you will get options. Okay. Say h1 dot name. I can say that hotel A, and you will have the option h1 dot capacity as well. You can put the capacity as 100. All right. Similarly, h2 dot name is hotel B, and h2 dot capacity is 200. Right. So this way I can define three hotels. Okay. So in the diagram, this is hotel A with a capacity of 100 people, right? So you can have a different value for different hotels. You can have, this is hotel B 200 and hotel C 300. Although the hotel class is just having two variables, but by creating object of the hotel class, I can give every object, okay, a different value, right? So you can print h1 dot name, h2 dot name, and h3 dot name. So when you run this, you see that it prints hotel A, hotel B, and hotel C. Right. Now, object and object reference is different. Please understand this. I can define, say, hotel H equals to null. That means the reference H is not pointing towards any object. Okay, I can define H equals to new hotel in the next line. That means H is now pointing towards a certain object. Okay, right. So object and object reference, they are different. Object reference points towards the object. So you have got three objects and three object references over here, H1, H2, H3. If I go and write in my code H1 equals to H2, so what will this mean? This will mean that in the memory, H1 will no longer point over here. H1 will point towards the location where H2 is pointing. So H1 and H2 will point towards the same object. You can have multiple object references pointing towards a single object. That is possible. If I print the same thing now, writing this line, if I print the same thing, h1 dot name, h2 dot name, and h3 dot name, and run the program, so you see that it now prints B and B. Over here it had printed A and B. The this object, right, this object over here, h1 is removed from here and h1 is pointing towards the other object now. Rather h1 and h2 point towards the same object. If now what happens is that, say I write h1 dot name is z. So what will happen is that this name would be now z. Okay, hotel B will be gone. So z will be there for both h1 and h2. If I print this thing again, h1 dot name, h2 dot name, h3 dot name, this thing, when I run this will print z, z, and c. You see that both of them, they printed z. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. Right. So object and object references, they are different. All right. Now suppose there is a variable over here int say number of receptions. Now hotel has got one reception. So whichever object you create, you will define this variable as one, right? We will define this variable as one, h1, h2, h3. So number of receptions, this particular variable will be same for all the objects. It doesn't make sense to define it under all the objects. We can define it at a common memory location, which can be common for all the objects, and we can keep it over there. Okay, so instead of keeping it under different objects because the value remains the same, we can keep it at a common location, a location from where all the objects can access it. Right. So we can do this and it's quite easy. You can do this by keeping this number of receptions variable as static. If you define a variable as static, it no longer remains in the object. These two variables, these are non-static variables of this class. They can be accessed only from the object. If you create the object of this class, only then non-static variables can be accessed. This is a static variable. Can be accessed directly from the class. It is not a part of an object. Okay. To access this variable, you see that you now start getting yellow warning signs that this is the wrong way to access this variable. Okay. So I'll just comment these three lines. To access this variable, you can directly say class name dot number of receptions equals to 1. You can access static variable directly with the class name. Okay, this particular variable can be called directly like hotel dot this, but to access these two variables, you will have to create the object of the class the way we did it. Static variable is common all all the objects of the classes. Okay, of the class, sorry, not classes. Right, so you can directly put it as one. So all the objects when they are created, they will have the number of rooms as one only. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me. Any questions from anyone?
So, Ashish, I have a question. If we want to refer to any of the object, so we need to create it through standalone class only, or can we call anything from main class as well?
Uh, you mean to say
So,
that this main function, it's whether
yes.
it, yes, you need to you use the main function because the control reaches the main function for the very first time. Okay, you need to use this main function. There is no other workaround.
Okay.
Okay, the control reaches inside the main function when you run the program for the first time. Okay, this is the starting point. So you can create the object in the main function of the hotel class. This hotel class I've made as a standalone class which has got No main function, nothing. But yes, it can
No,
have other.
can we also refer to main, I mean, one main function to another main function?
No, you cannot do that.
We
It
cannot.
makes no sense. Okay,
Okay.
we don't do like this. Okay. So out here in hotel.java,
Hi, Diksha here.
yeah.
I have one question. So, can we declare this variables in the test hotel class itself instead of making a different standalone class and
If
then
we if we create it in test hotel, then we'll have to create objects of the test hotel class.
oh,
If I have a variable known as int x over here,
huh.
in order to access it, I will have to create object of test hotel.
And if we make it static here itself, still we'll have to make an object.
Then you can, if I make it static, then I can access it rather directly in the main function only like this. Or you can write a test hotel dot x
Dot
also.
X. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So generally we have the objects, like we have a class and in some other class we create the object of that particular class and we initialize stuff. Okay. So we can have functions in it as well, say public void check-in. In this I can write checking in hotel and I can print the hotel name. So this is a non-static function. Whatever is non-static has to be accessed with the object. Okay. Over here I printed the name three times, h1 dot name. It is printing ABC. Right. So if I write h1 dot check-in, so the check-in function also would be present inside all the three objects. Okay, you can understand it this way because it is non-static. So when h1.checkin is called, h2.checkin is called, so it prints checking in hotel, hotel A, hotel B, hotel C. It in the check-in, it depends which who is calling the check-in function. If I call the check-in function with h1, which was right now pointing here, or h2 or h3, it will use the name of that particular instance or that particular object. Okay, so the book definition is that object is instance of a class. But if you understand it in depth, then basically when you create object of a class, then in that object, all the non-static stuff or everything which is non-static in the class, it resides or it can be accessed with that particular object. Okay, the static stuff you can directly refer with the name of the class. If I have a function like a public static void xyz over here, and if I want to access this, I can access it directly with the name of the class. Okay, you can access it directly,
Ashish,
right?
I have a question about that static variable. So if I give the value, assign a value to that static variable in the hotel.java itself, then later I cannot modify it in the test hotel Java, right? Like
You
it
can do
stays
it. You can do
again.
it. Yes. I can define it directly equal to 1. Generally, we don't do that. Okay, later on, by default, it is 0. Okay, by default, these values are 0.
No, I'm saying like if I assign it as, for example, number of receptions equals 1 here.
You can change it as well later on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you can change it to 2. If you don't assign, default value is 0. 0 can be changed as well. If you assign, it will be 1. 1
Mm-hmm.
can also be
Okay, got
changed.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so the only difference basically is that how you call the static variables or functions in the
Yes, you
function.
can
Okay.
call it directly right hotel dot
So
xyz.
you don't have to create an object. You just can
Yeah,
uh,
it can directly be called from wherever you want it, but just by referring the name dot the
okay.
variable. Okay. Now, one thing is there, static cannot access non-static. In check-in function, I'm able to access the name variable. Suppose in check-in function, I can also access the non-static variable number of receptions. Okay, so basically in my check-in function, I can access both the variables which are static to the class as well as which are non-static to the class. Okay, right. Now, if I have a static function, I can access number of receptions equals to 200. I can access static, but I cannot access the non-static. Because this function, you understand, this function is there at a common location for all the objects. If I write name equals to z, so which object I am trying to assign a name? Okay, this static function is not a part of the object. Check-in was part of the object. In check-in, I could assign the name. Okay, I could have written maybe I could have used the name variable or I could have changed the value of that name variable. That is fine because check-in is associated with a particular object. Okay, but the XYZ function is not associated with an object. It is lying somewhere over here at a common location in the memory. So I cannot access the non-static variables from here. This is not allowed. The golden rule is static cannot access non-static. So there are few rules in objects. One is static can be called directly with class. Non-static can be called by creating object of the class. And number third is static cannot access non-static. Okay, so these are the three golden rules. Right. Now objects are good. We have seen how you can create object. You can just write new, and you can create. But how they are helpful in Selenium. That's what I'm going to take now. All right. I'll add the Selenium jars again in a project. Every time you create a project, you will have to add the jar files yourself manually. Write all the jars in the lib and all the other jars. Right. So over here, I have added everything in this project, the Selenium jars, they will come under reference libraries. Now, Selenium when it works with different browsers, we start off with the object creation part. Okay, I'll just create a new class over here known as Selenium Basics. Look, I am not going to go this way in the training that I'm completely teaching you Java first and then Selenium. No, I'll teach you Java, then I'll tell you how those concepts of Java are utilized in Selenium. Okay, so out here, if I create the object of new Chrome driver, don't do this. You won't be able to run this. Okay, there are few settings which are required. I'll tell you. Yeah, like yesterday I told you, just by creating object of an internal class, new Chrome driver, which is present in some of the reference jar files, just by creating the object, you will see that a blank Chrome browser will open up. So the Selenium guys, they have made Selenium in this way. Okay, how Chrome it starts, you don't need to go inside that. Okay, that has already been done by the Selenium guys. You see that a blank Chrome browser has opened up. Fine. Now, if you do this, you will get errors. Okay, you need to understand a few things before you actually run this command. So for making you understand those things, let me just go to the official site of Selenium, which is selenium.dev, and you see that Selenium automates browsers. Okay, and if you go to the download section, you see the API docs over here. Okay, this is the documentation. We'll refer to this documentation. Just hold on. Just a minute. And moreover, you see, you will have a section known as platform supported by Selenium and the browsers. Okay, let's look at the Firefox browser first. All right. Now, the thing is, you cannot just run Firefox driver like that. All right. You will have to open this documentation. Go here and there is a exe which you need to download for Firefox. First of all, you need to install Firefox for your machine. And to automate the Firefox, you need a driver, basically an exe, right? And you can download go to this link, Gecko driver releases, and download the latest 0.29 for your operating system, like for Windows 64-bit, 32-bit, or Mac. When you download it, and like in my PC, it is lying over here. Hold on. Okay, so this is the Gecko driver exe. I think this is the one, or no, common drivers. This is the one. Okay, so this is the Gecko driver exe, right? You need to keep it over here, right? And you need to give a command system dot set property webdriver dot Gecko dot driver to the path of the exe. You know, everything over here is in the lower case. All right. Look, system is an internal class in Java and set property is a static function in that class. So you are able to directly call it. You are setting some system property webdriver.gecko.driver and you give the path where your Gecko driver.exe is lying. In Java, you need to give double slash. So first of all, you have to tell that where is my Gecko driver, webdriver.gecko.driver, and then there is an internal class known as Firefox driver. There are different drivers in Selenium. For each browser, you have a driver class. If you go to the documentation, which I had opened over here, right, and if you scroll down, you will have, hold on, just a minute. Driver. They have, what have they done? Hold on, in the new version, just a minute. Just a minute. It's there, but in the documentation, just a minute, guys. Give me a minute. Actually, in the new documentation, they have changed few things. Let me figure it out. There used to be an interface WebDriver. They have, hold on. So there will be a class known as, okay, I think they have not given the full documentation this time. They have done some mistake. Okay. All right, leave it. So we have the Firefox. Just write Firefox and hit Control spacebar of the keyboard. Okay. So you have got, you'll see Firefox driver coming up. Okay. You need to create the object of this Firefox driver class. So there are different drivers in Selenium. One is a Firefox driver for Firefox. Then you have got a Chrome driver class. For Edge, you have got Edge driver. Right. So we'll look at what these drivers one by one. Right. So when I run this code, you will see that. Hold on, this takes a little while. A blank Firefox opens up. Right. So you just need to create the object of Firefox driver and set the exe in the system path, and this will open up. Now in this Firefox driver object, you have got lot of functions. Functions which are given by the Selenium guys. Right. For example, I write get go, that means load a web page, and I go to yahoo.com. So get function is internal function in Firefox driver which will take you to yahoo.com. You have to mention the protocol over here. You can't just write yahoo.com like this. You have to mention the full website with the protocol. Right. So when you run this code, you will see that a Firefox browser opens and it takes you to yahoo.com. Right. Okay. So it's that simple. All the commands are inbuilt. You need to understand how to write them. Similarly,
Ashish?
yeah,
Yeah, Ashish Diksha. So here, like, if we want to run the application or the website in a particular browser, we write the first two line of code depending on whether it's a Chrome or a Firefox, and so the remaining whole actions we perform will be running on that application. So going forward, is it like only we need to change the two lines of code, and like we need to check whether it works properly in all the browsers? It will be like that.
yeah, I'll tell you how you can work in different browsers.
Okay.
Okay, how to write a single script which can run on different browsers. I will come over to that in some time.
Okay.
Okay, you'll come to know. Right.
Okay.
Similarly, on Selenium website, you have got Chrome. For Chrome, you again open this particular documentation. This is by Google because Chrome is owned by Google. So Google has given an exe to automate Chrome, but you have to use that exe depending on your Chrome version, right? So first of all, you check your Chrome version, go to about Google Chrome. Mine is 88.0.4324. Okay. So your for this is my okay. So if you have some older version, maybe you update your Chrome to this version, right? And you click on, or you can also go on all versions available in downloads, and for an older version of Chrome you can get the exe from here. So I'll get it from here, and you can download for 32-bit, 64-bit. I have it in my machine over here, chrome driver.exe. So to automate Chrome, you will have to again give the same command, system.setProperty dot sorry, not dot, webdriver dot chrome dot driver to the path of chrome driver dot exe file. Okay, and then you create the object of chrome driver. You don't need to run that exe. There is no need. Go to the website http yahoo.com. So when you run this will launch Chrome, and it will take Chrome to yahoo.com. Okay, but the only thing is that you have to be a little careful with Chrome, Firefox, and these browsers. The problem happens when there is an update. If Firefox gets automatically updated, the exe is old one, so it fails to work. Okay, it fails to work. Firefox fails to work at that time because it gets updated. Then you have to wait till the Firefox guys they update the exe as well. And that period actually you are not able to test anything on Firefox. So it's always a good advice that if you have a Firefox browser, then you please turn off the automatic updates in that particular browser. Okay, so if you have got Firefox, hold on, it's hanging. Yeah, you go to, just a minute. Yep, you go to, options. If Chrome is updated, then Chrome guys are very fast. They deliver the exe right away. So you don't have to worry for Chrome. But Firefox drive guys, they take a little time to deliver the new exe after updation. So turn off the automatic updation of Firefox from the preferences so it doesn't get updated. So just go to tools options and type updates. So it will say that always choose this option, check for updates, but let you choose to install them. So don't install the updates in Firefox. Otherwise, at times it will stop working. Right. Similarly, Edge driver, or you have got Internet Explorer driver, which is for I, but I is deprecated now. Nobody uses it. Okay. Everyone is using Edge browser. Right. For Edge browser as well, you have the support over here. You can go to the documentation. So this will take you to the Microsoft website. Microsoft is giving you exes for your Edge. Okay, if I launch my Edge on the PC, so first of all, you need to check which release of or which version of Edge you are having on your PC. Fine, depending on that, you will have to download the exe. Hold on, let Edge launch. Just hold on. Right. So once Edge launches, right. So you can go to, hold on, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can click on these three dots and basically you have to find out the version of Edge you are using. Fine. It's taking a lot of, let it remain like this for some time. It will get stabilized and then I'll come back to it. Right. So you need to find out the Edge version. Right. And of corresponding to that particular version, you need to download the exe and you will have to write the same command. Right. That is a system dot set property. Instead of, WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver, you'll have to write WebDriver dot Edge dot driver. And I hope it's okay now. Yeah, hold on. Go to the settings and after that, you will have to create the object of Edge driver class. Look, even if you just type EDGE and hit Control spacebar of the keyboard, what Java will do, it will give you all the names of the classes which are starting with the word Edge. Okay, and you can select the one which you want, right? This Edge has actually hanged my PC. Okay, so about Microsoft Edge, you can go here and it is 88.0.705. So you can get the version from here. I'll close Edge, right? So all you need to do, you need to just type Edge driver, select it, and from the Edge website, yeah, this was the one you can download the exe. Like in my case, I already have the exe over here, Microsoft Edge driver. Right, and then you can write edge.get to the website http yahoo. As a beginner, you just need to understand these three drivers. There are drivers for Opera and Safari as well. Opera driver and Safari driver also there in Selenium, but they are not so stable. Okay, they aren't stable. They have their own limitations. Right, you see that? Okay, I was reading the news. Right. So this is how it works. I'll talk about other drivers. There is one more driver known as a remote web driver. This is used in case of Selenium Grid when you have to run the scripts parallelly. Okay, we'll talk about this as well as time progresses. Now you don't need to write this line again and again. This is not required. Okay, you can simply do one thing. Go to your, my computer and right click on it and go to the properties of your my computer. And in the properties, you go to advanced system settings, and in advanced system settings, go to environment variables, and you will have a path variable. This is the path variable in system variables. Edit it and create a new path. Give the folder path where all the exes are lying. Okay, give the folder path like this, the way I have given it over here. Okay, so you put them in your put the path in your system path and restart your PC. You will have to restart the PC. Okay, so after that, when you run the program, okay, you don't need to uh, put this line. Okay, the Edge driver or the Chrome driver would automatically picked up. All right. So this is the good thing about putting this particular path in the system path instead of writing system.set property again and again. Right. So just close this. Fine. Now this is about different drivers, but the question which comes out automatically is that it's quite simple that how do you write a single script which can run on all the browsers? Okay, every driver will have separate set of functions. Will you have to learn those functions for every driver separately? If I have to click on a link in Firefox and if I have to click on a link in Chrome, whether the process to click on the link on Firefox as well as Chrome will be same or different. So we'll look at that as well. Right. Now, firstly, once people who have already registered for the course, I would request you that, I have kept lots of exercises under these modules. Just try and solve them. Okay, go here, log in into your account, and over here under Java object oriented programming, these sections, the first part, oops, I've kept exercises. Try to solve them. Also, operator loops, arrays, exercises are also over here. You can also try to solve these things. Moreover, guys, this is not just a 5-day course or something where you guys are will come and attend the course and go back. I will be keeping some exercises sessions on the weekends as well at in the basically in the night, somewhere around 8 p.m. Indian time, wherein I'll be giving you if you're comfortable, because on weekend people are busy, but this is not a tool which you can just learn by attending a 5-day session and thinking that fine, I'll do it. So every Saturday we will have a review, a quiz session wherein I'll be giving you some quizzes to solve. Probably I'll be making you do them on Saturday, and I'll give you on Saturday. You can take complete Saturday, Sunday, and do them as well. Okay, so it will be a small exam, you can say, not exam, an evaluation session where you can actually spend the weekend evaluating yourself that how much you have learned. Fine. Because it will never, this tool will never come to you if you just go and watch a video, write few lines of code. That will never happen. These things are very easy, whatever I'm teaching. The problem comes up later on when we do some practical scenarios, when you have to apply your mind. Okay, I've seen people mugging up the code. Nothing will happen if you just mug up the code. Okay, you cannot just learn the code by heart. You have to practice, and as you practice, things come to you. Okay, so I will stop here for today. Okay, there is enough of this, right? And probably some days of a week, I might take some extra time as well, 15-20 minutes extra to give you few things. So be ready for it. And if you have any schedules in next 3-4 months, keep them aside. Okay, focus on this. And the ultimate objective for everyone over here is to get a job, and it will not come to you like that. Okay, you have to do some sacrifices as well. All right. So fine. Anybody with any questions? Anything?
Ashish, Diksha here. So this is the normal timing we'll be having from Monday to Friday, right? 8:30 to 9:30.
Yes.
Okay, and like I am from Florida, so it's an EST time. Yeah, so on Saturday, Sunday, Saturday,
It will
what
be
would be?
somewhere around 9:30 in the morning.
Okay, 9:30 in the morning. All right.
On Saturday, I'll give you some
Okay.
quizzes and exercises to solve. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. So, all right.
So, all right. So,
Ashish, I have one doubt.
yeah,
As you are telling that whenever you create a new project in the Selenium, like in the Eclipse under the Selenium project, something, every time we need to install the JRE library, that file.
it automatically comes up in the project.
Okay, because in
Yes.
Java usually it will come, right? So I just had a doubt.
This one. This will automatically come.
No, not the like the Java one, like Selenium reference
Yeah,
libraries.
this will come up once you add the jar files.
For each project we need to add, or it will
Yes,
be
for
there.
each project you have to need the jar, add the jar files.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there's something known as Maven as well, which can reduce that task. I'll cover that later on. Yep.
Okay.
So, okay. So, fine then, right? We'll meet tomorrow and I will send you the recording and the new invite for tomorrow's class as well. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Ashish.
Good night.
you. Okay.
Thanks, Ashish.
Thank you.